LUNCE'S LIST, LUNCE'S LIST, oh. What is this, LUNCE'S LIST, LUNCE'S LIST, oh. LUNCE'S LIST to 5, LUNCE'S LIST to 5, LUNCE'S LIST to 5, LUNCE'S LIST to 5.
John, which 5 pairs of film performers have had the most chemistry on screen since the year 2000? That is your goal here. Is the first thing you're going to have to do is erase the board, I think.
Yes.
You have some things to say.
Yeah, so this could have gone a lot of different ways. So I took it as movies. You didn't specify movies, but I took it as movies, so I'll say that up front. Because there were a couple I thought, one that didn't make the list, for instance, that would have if I considered TV, is a pairing like Steve Martin and Martin Short, because now with Only Murders in the Building, that's a long-running one that isn't just since 2000, but since 2000, that's now a new one that I think would end up ultimately putting them on the list. You said it doesn't have to be romance-based. It doesn't have to be gender-limited, so it's not man and female. It could be man and man, woman and woman, whatever. And I'll also say this. I guarantee I'm overlooking some. There's some lists that I come in, it's like I'm confident in my 5. This is one of those because just in the grand scheme of the millions of movies that have come out, I'm going to miss something. So if I don't say something out there, you could remind me, and this is one I'll admit.
Donnie Darko.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Yes, Jake Gyllenhaal and the bunny really had a good chemistry. Anyway, with that, I will move on.
Okay.
Right.
John's going to go to the
I'll
list.
also say this. This also is a list. Sorry.
Oh, you're okay.
This also is a list that I gave more consideration if there were multiple movies with a pairing. So if you had multiple really good movies, or I could pick the 2 out of it could have been from the same franchise or different franchises. I gave a little more credence to that. Like, hey, if you could do it multiple times, then you deserve to be on the list as opposed to maybe just one really good performance.
There's one pairing in particular that I think fits that mold, and we're going to see if it makes LUNCE'S list. Rockstar, you're a person with a performer's mentality. How important is it to have good chemistry? That's everything, right?
Oh, it's everything. If one person sucks, it drags the other person down. It doesn't matter how great the other person is.
You don't have to talk about John while he's away from the microphone like that.
Well, he can't do anything about it. And I'm curious how he goes with this. Do you go?
Whoa, don't mute Rockstar's microphone. That's petty.
Tom Petty. If he goes, I think Jason Statham and The Rock are incredible.
It's possible.
In
Hobbs
Fast
and Shaw.
Furious. And for another one would be Jason Statham and Vin Diesel are incredible in Fast and Furious 6, the saga for the gold nugget. Yeah, Paul Walker. But you see that's a given though. Everybody he's talking mean. You need a headset for this. Number 5. He's got the number 5 with a hyphen.
I really thought he was writing Hugh Grant there for a second.
I was going to throw, yeah. Nicole Kidman in Australia.
This could have gone a lot of different ways, but I'm really surprised this is on the list. So obviously referencing many, many, many films, but I think cemented probably by Logan if you were to ask John. John, to me the best part of Logan was this pairing. Why did they make it into LUNCE'S list? Because the 5 spot is actually just as crucial as any other spot. 5 is probably the most crucial because that's the cutoff point.
It is the cutoff point, and I have the ones that it's like I thought about it. I just think this pairing was over a 2 or 3 that I considered for the list. This is one that the whole entirety of X-Men, Patrick Stewart being the leader of the good guys basically, and I mentioned, I don't remember what the list was or what we were talking about, but I mentioned how Logan was always very depressed in his life. And Patrick Stewart always, with Professor X, always had to pull the best out of Wolverine. And so that relationship was already there that then, like you said, was very much cemented in Logan. And it was an incredible look at almost a son taking care of a father who was suffering with dementia. And, he had those psychic attacks that were crazy that would, kill people and stuff, that it was a really good relationship. And I can't remember the one that had to cover his face that was kind of also
Callisto.
there too. Was it Callisto?
Pretty sure.
Something like that. It was Calabrian or something, but anyway, I don't know what it was, but he was kind of a good he's almost like the caretaker kind of second element of it too.
Right.
A movie like The Father was really, really good from the father and daughter perspective. Same kind of thing. And this is like, hey, let's take that movie but put it in. And I know it came out after the fact, but it's like, let's take that and put it into more of a superhero thing. That, yeah, Wolverine comes out and he brutally kills a bunch of people, and it's cool from the popcorn perspective. But that relationship was really, really good, and as emotional as it was, then when Patrick Stewart passed away, and then when Logan passed away, because I think you could also make the example from this one with him as a Daphne Keene that played the girl that was X-24.
X-23. And also
X-24 was the bad version of Logan.
The other character you mentioned was Caliban. Not
Caliban.
Callisto.
I kept saying
That's my fault.
Calabrian or something, but
I was gonna say, wasn't Callisto like a early 2000s rapper or something?
Sure. Good, Calista Flockhart, yeah. But anyway, that movie definitely, because you saw a lot of attention paid to Wolverine versus other X-Men throughout the series, both the old people with the trilogy, it's weird calling them old, and then the younger ones. Like, I've been watching Days of Future Past, and the whole point of it is Logan going back and having to work with James McAvoy,
Yep.
but ultimately the relationship he had with Patrick Stewart as far as the actual actors on screen was really, really good.
And it is really a wonderful, beautiful arc of Patrick Stewart brought Logan in to protect him, take care of him, mentor him, and then Logan's dedicating the time needed to make sure that Patrick Stewart is taken care of in his more ailing days. It was a beautiful film. My only real hope for Deadpool and Wolverine is that it doesn't undo in any way the greatness of Logan. And I feel like there is a little bit of a fear of that because it was such a perfect send-off for that character and for that chapter of Logan. And what are we going to see come back? We don't know.
Well, and a perfect send-off for Professor X, who now has already come back with Doctor Strange. So you have to get Wolverine from another universe, because also he never wore that costume before, so you maybe might make you think he comes from a different universe. Let Logan be what it was for both of those characters and find him from a different universe somewhere.
The amount of times Professor X has died on camera in very vile and horrible ways has been a lot over the past 20 years.
Yeah.
Last Stand was real bad. That's a horrible way to go.
Yes. All right.
Let's go with number 4 on Lunce's list. We're talking about chemistry and the 5 pairs of performers that have the most.
Let's just get this out of the way.
Is this a setup? I feel like this is a practical joke. He's going to
like
write
it's
The
just
Rock
gonna
and
be
Jason
like-
Statham and
Oh, yeah, here it is. Vin Diesel.
Paul Walker.
Yep, Paul Walker.
Okay, I'm going to let John take the floor on this because I can't really speak to it. This isn't my franchise. John has a soft spot in his heart for Fast and the Furious. But there were grown men that cried everywhere when this was no longer allowed to be a collaboration. So talk to me, John.
No, I will admit this probably would be a very close honorable mention, but would have just missed had Paul Walker not passed away and had that movie not played out the way that it did. I know the minute I get up and start writing, it's like, I bet he's going to do Fast and the Furious. Yes, I'm going to do Fast and the Furious. Clearly my love for Fast and the Furious is known here. But there's also a reason they did 1 million of these movies, because if those two didn't work well together, the movies would not exist the way that they are.
I'm happier you went with this than Vin Diesel and Bradley Cooper for Rocket and Groot. Because I would be like, but he says only 3 words as Groot.
But the way he delivers those words.
Right,
The thing is, there is actually really cool behind-the-scenes versions of him doing that, because he does it all in all the different languages, too. Like Vin Diesel actually just learns, because all you got to learn is, I am Groot in every other language. And the way he does it, and watching him from a voice actor perspective, it's actually kind of fascinating to see. Somebody just sighed really loudly.
I'd love to see a 90-minute documentary on him perfecting those 3 words. Like
it is. I mean, it's like a good little 5-minute watch, but it is fascinating to see. Anyway, obviously, Fast and Furious is my franchise, and them together is what made it work, and them not together is what's making it not work currently. You can't say The Rock and Vin Diesel, because number 1, they hate each other right now, and number 2, they were
I
good.
thought they made up.
I don't know.
Well, The Rock was in the last one, but
I don't think he shot with anyone.
He didn't shoot with anybody. It was the post-credit scene in the last one to kind of set up, if we do another one, it's going to be pretty much all about The Rock because of what happened at the end of the 10th
Vin
one.
Diesel might be going somewhere else.
See, that's the whole thing. The whole franchise is probably done because of that. But 5, 6, and 7 are really the only ones that they're like really focused together, that you also have Paul Walker, so it kind of kept from The Rock and Vin Diesel from really being a pairing. Yeah, you had Hobbs and Shaw, but that was just a goofy spinoff that didn't really have any chemistry. It's all about Vin Diesel with Dom and Paul Walker with Brian in that series.
Okay, I don't think anybody has anything else to add here.
I know y'all don't.
Does anyone remember
That's why I
the
said
third
let's get it over
one
with.
that had Zachary Ty Bryan in it? Do you remember Zachary Ty Bryan?
The only one Paul Walker wasn't in before he died.
Well, Vin Diesel might.
Vin Diesel was in it for a hot second, but
I wanted to get this one over with fast and no one be furious. Let's go to number 3.
Uh,
I think that was Tyler decaying after a long week. We need that. Can we get that as a hotkey? We need that as something we can punch up at any point. Tyler thought it was funny. All right.
Will Ferrell. And,
I hope this is the one. I think this is the one. That,
John C. Reilly, I'm assuming.
well, that's how you
Okay,
know it's
okay,
good.
my bad.
If
Let's
we can
wait.
guess, if we can guess the second one, that means that you did a good job. Because this one had to be on the list.
I had to make sure I spelled the name right.
This one had to be on the list. This was the one that I was thinking of beforehand.
This is no longer a thing anymore, right?
It is not a thing. They fell apart because of the Lakers. Because Will Ferrell wanted to play Jerry Buss, and John C. Reilly got it instead. Adam McKay, Will Ferrell no longer like each other. John C. Reilly, it was more Adam McKay and Will Ferrell, but John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell really aren't a thing
So
either.
we're not getting a Step Brothers 2 is what you're
I
saying?
don't think we're getting Step Brothers 2 or a Talladega Nights 2, which are their two best.
Holmes and Watson too.
Holmes and Watson 2. I literally wrote Talladega Nights is a classic. Step Brothers are a classic. Some of their other collaborations weren't necessarily great movies, but you can't deny the chemistry they have and that they work incredibly well together.
Wouldn't it be great if they came back as mortal enemies and they had to play off of each other? It
I
would
mean,
be
sure,
fantastic.
but-
That's what Step Brothers was for 80% of the movie.
But you have to have good chemistry off camera to be able to pull that off. I mean, we pull off mortal enemies great on camera, but, Anyway, sorry, I'm just trying to bring up a Love Lies Bleeding reference there. Are you ready to move on?
No, I love this, that this made the list. It should make the list. If they were still able to produce things together, it may even be higher on the list. These guys have electric chemistry in Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. I'm a bigger Will Ferrell fan. You're a bigger John C. Reilly fan. And
But love them both.
they're incredible together. And, Step Brothers is one of the most rewatchable things ever. Can I just point something out, though?
I just noticed something. John wrote 2 5s.
That's
Is
what I was
that
about
what
to
you were
say. Is
looking
that
at,
a-
Tim?
Because y'all are already spoiling everything before I even get up there. I'm sorry. I'll change it.
I was going to bring that up. I was going to bring up that for some, and it's not even a 5, it's an S. Maybe that's just S tier. Is that what that is? Whatever you're trying to write, it's not even working.
John can't count.
That's awful. That's the worst
Oh,
thing you've
that
written.
that
up there.
explains your take on
Let's go
the
to-
Love Lies Bleeding box office.
Look at Tyler with
Can't
this
wait-
thing.
can't
Across
wait till
$3
late
million.
Can't wait till Dance with the Devil makes $5 this weekend.
Late Night with the Devil will not make $2.5 million this weekend. I promise you that. Let's go with
it's my time
number
to shine.
3.
Like we're on this cooking show.
On
Take it to the
Lunce's list.
randomizer.
Which I have seen a million commercials for that watching the UAB game right now, by the way. All right.
Number 3 on Lunce's number 2 on Lunce's list. Take your time. Looking for the performers with the best chemistry on screen over the past 20 years. I could have gone back further than that, but I feel like it makes the list incredibly too tough. So it needs to be over the past 20 years, over the past 2 decades, past 25 years, something like that. So be thinking in there.
Oh, this is a good pick, too.
We're going to the chat. We're looking at you guys.
Tim, I'm surprised you weren't going to say this one. This is the one that I thought that you were thinking of.
I need one more. I need one more movie. And I'm not saying they shouldn't be on the list, but I'm saying I need one more movie, I think, to put them this high.
They got 3 though that are good.
I know. I need one more. Just need one more.
If you got, I said I gave it to multiple as opposed to one. There's 2. I don't disagree, and that probably put them my number 1 was the easy choice, but I think La La Land was good enough. And y'all are gonna say, but you hated La La Land. I didn't hate La La Land. It was good enough. It has the staying power. It has the
good
rewatchability.
enough. What does that even mean? Good enough.
And they sang together at the Oscars,
Just can't make
technically.
you happy. But then that kind of helped put it over too. That clearly there's a little something still there between the two of them.
I have no problem with this being on the list. This is what I want to say to Laurel. I feel like Ryan Gosling has chemistry with so many people.
It does.
That deteriorates from this being a pairing that should have this much weight.
I think
behind it.
they'll still be like number 1. I feel like him and Margaret, because they've got a few movies that are coming out together because they're going to be in the New Oceans prequel, and I think they're doing something else. But they were so good at the Oscars that she even popped out of her dress. I mean, I'm just,
That's true.
I'm watching the new Fall Guy trailer, and him and Emily Blunt
I
together
think they have really good
look
chemistry.
incredible.
How
in
does
terms
she
of
have more
chemistry.
chemistry than him than with her own husband? Like John Krasinski, who does he have chemistry with? Pam?
Let me
Is that
ask.
it?
Let me ask this. So, if you were to take Ryan Gosling out of this pairing, who would be Emma Stone's second person you'd sub in? Because you have a lot for Ryan Gosling that you could sub in a lot for the Emma Stone side of things.
That director from The Favorite.
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
You're right.
I'm trying to think just actors on screen that she's acted with. I mean,
She's
Jonah Hill?
Jonah Hill's honestly the first thing that comes to mind.
Maybe.
I mean, that's a maybe not the best example, but I mean, I don't know. I might say that.
Anyway, I think Ryan Gosling is the MVP of this team, where I feel like in the others, there's definitely more of a 50-50 split. That's all I'm saying.
No, but it's funny. I would probably agree Ryan Gosling's the MVP of this team, yet Emma Stone's the multiple-time Oscar winner, who's now considered maybe the best in the business now from an awards perspective.
You're right. All right. Anything you'd like to throw out before we get to our number one? Because I actually feel like the number one will be more captivating if we go ahead and do number one and then do all of the people who didn't make the list.
Number one, easy choice. I wrote this down and then worked my way backwards.
Does anybody want to take a guess at who this is? Anybody want to think about who
Brad
the two
Pitt and
people
George
are?
Clooney?
Who are the, who are
Brad
the
Pitt and
two
George Clooney?
people over the past 25 years that you feel like have the most chemistry
In John's eyes,
in John's eyes over the past 25 years?
That's-
Anybody?
it can't
Brad
be the-
Pitt and George Clooney?
Oh.
Guesses? Anybody? Okay,
I don't have. I mean, we've gotten Brad Pitt, George Clooney on the books. I think that we know that that is your vote. The question is, what is number one?
Robert Downey Jr. and
Justin Timberlake and Amanda Seyfried on
I
In
feel like,
Time.
did they do multiple movies together?
I don't know.
I can't see anything, so you'll have to tell me.
Ben Affleck. Oh, and Matt Damon.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a super easy.
Slash J-Lo, because they had
I mean,
that
they have
Dunkin'
that's the
commercial.
one of the
Is this
greatest
because
commercials I've ever seen in
The
my
Dun
life.
Kings commercial?
No, that's
why-
great. It's so
I mean, who else but these two?
So I know
In
you
every
love
facet.
Air. I know you love Air.
Yeah, and they've
I have to breathe it every day.
Goodwill Hunting happened before the year 2000,
Correct.
which is, I guess can still be looked at as the resume, but I feel like that's at their height of.
I mean, it is. That's number one.
So
What else?
what performances together puts them in the clear number one category?
Those two.
But good.
Goodwill Hunting
And they just
Air.
The thing is, if you have chemistry, here's the thing. Okay, hold on. Let me make an argument for one I didn't include. My number six, and the only reason they were this high is because of what happened off the movie, was Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper from A Star Is Born.
That's a pretty good one.
Because when they performed at the Oscars,
That was Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, I put some lotion on the skin.
Let me guess. There's a Family Guy something.
Oh,
that
there-
sounds-
yes, there
okay.
is.
Could you help
No,
me move this couch?
I'm just trying to imagine that. I'm trying to imagine that's Bradley Cooper. I mean, he did mumble on that a lot.
Bradley Cooper as Buffalo Bill.
Oh God, he'd overacted. Oh, I gotta have an Oscar.
You know
Oh, I
what's
gotta
one?
have an Oscar.
There's one. There's
That was
one. That,
Gregory Peck.
There's
by the
one
way.
I am shocked you didn't include. What about Kristen Dunst and
Tobey
just-
Maguire.
No, and Jesse Plemons.
Oh,
Well, we need to see Civil War 2 as well.
Number one, he said, and also I feel that's kind of cheating. But
This is cheating. Ben Affleck and Matt
there's
Damon
one
is
you'll
cheating.
haven't. There's one you'll haven't named.
Okay.
Dogma.
Okay.
Oh,
Dogma's a really good
come
movie. Dogma is a really good movie.
Jay and Silent Bob in that movie.
Yeah, he's also they did what's the one where they came back in Goodwill Hunting? It's hunting season. You remember they redid it? It was it Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back?
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
multiple Jalen and Silent Bob
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
The
They did
last
some
duel.
Jimmy Kimmel skits.
The Last Duel. They've done it well. Well, somebody said Matt Damon and Jimmy Kimmel because
This
of that.
is like
They're never
putting-
actually on screen together.
This is like putting Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet at the number one spot. It's the same argument because it's a late 90s hit that booms them up into success, and then
many
they
mo-
remain friends
How
throughout
many
the
movies
past
have they
20
done
years.
together
They've
Two.
done a few. Revolutionary Road.
that nobody remembers?
No, that was a laugher. Like I
You
laughed
picked
my ass off.
Dogma as your number one reason why.
I just said it's number one. I said that's another movie. Air was one of the best movies of the year last year. Goodwill Hunting is considered one of the best of all time. And The Last Duel they did together. Dogma they did together. Chasing Amy they did together. They did multiple Jay and Silent Bob movies together. They do a ton of stuff together, but it also is their off-screen relationship that they write things together, that they're best friends together. It's easy, number one, and I will not back down from this at all. Easy number one. Now, here are my honorable mentions. Lady Gaga, Bradley Cooper was number 6. It was one time, but
It was
that
magical.
performance at the Oscars made everybody a little hot and heavy when they watched it. James Franco and Seth Rogen were right on the outside
And if James Franco hadn't been canceled, probably would have made the list.
and probably would have kept going, probably would have kept doing stuff. Christian Bale and Michael Caine, multiple movies. Not just Batman, did multiple Nolan things.
Prestige, which
Adam-
also had Hugh Jackman.
Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston, multiple movies. Also thought Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, multiple movies. Not all in the 2000s, though. Sean Astin and Elijah Wood with Lord of the Rings. I mean, that was a pairing that had to work.
If we were doing a 90s one,
Yeah.
David Spade, Chris Farley should be on the list, right?
It would have been top 3 probably if I did 90s.
Yeah, but the thing is,
For me.
they played the same characters.
I know, but
There's no range.
But they work off each other so
you
well.
I'm the
love
smart
it.
ass, you're the dumbass.
Everybody loves it, right?
I know it's great. It's a great, but like you can't do like I mean, if they did Tommy Boy 2 and Black Sheep, well, Black Sheep was actually Tommy Boy 2. It's different.
I'm
Okay.
having a hard time here from the performance standpoint.
How many movies did Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly do?
3?
Holmes versus Watts or Holmes
Okay,
and
I just
Watson.
named like 9, 10 that Ben Affleck and Matt Damon did.
Yeah, but they're not.
You're
They weren't
saying
like
it's not
stars. They
enough.
weren't stars of Dogma.
We're all 9 or 10.
Yeah, they were. They were
Mm.
they were the 2 angels that the whole thing revolved
They're
around.
the Angels.
We're all 9 and 10 within the past 24 years, 25 years
Oh God.
that
No,
you named. So
not all of them.
I wouldn't consider all 9 or 10 to be in there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, they literally did one last year. Sorry.
What
Four
about-
of 8 were within fall within that.
I haven't sat down and come up with my list, so maybe I'm being too harsh. But I just feel like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, they are best friends off screen, and it does relate to incredible chemistry on screen.
So are Will Ferrell
But
and
over
John C.
the
Reilly.
past couple of
Used
decades,
to be.
I think that they've lost this crown. Like if we were doing 1998, I'm all about it.
They
But
literally did
here
one
in
of the best movies last year.
2024, just
Were they in School Ties together? Was Damon in School Ties?
Yes,
Yeah.
they were.
I mean, that's 1994.
That's their
Brendan
first.
Fraser.
That's their first credited
Yeah.
together.
Right.
Anyway, also Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hiddleston. I like the Thor Loki connection. Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson. I considered The Rock and
yeah.
Kevin Hart
That's
clearly
what I
work,
thought
or
you
else
would've
they
chosen.
wouldn't be doing all those movies. And then I did consider Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans.
okay.
They've
Laurel?
only done Avengers movies, so it doesn't count.
Laurel, any reaction here to the list?
I'm kind of surprised there's not more like a male and female pairing. I mean, I would, you know me, I would have chosen Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler because
I mean,
I
I
feel
had a
like
bunch.
they've been, I feel like friends forever, but I feel like they have really good chemistry and they keep doing stuff together. In fact, I think they should do a movie with both of them and Drew Barrymore. Try to find a way because when you think Adam Sandler, I think Wedding Singer. Like that's the movie that sticks out. Like for
I'm
me,
Happy Gilmore.
They're making a sequel. They announced
Good.
it today.
I'm way more 50 First Dates than Wedding Singer when it comes to those two, though.
You don't think of Jack and Jill?
No, Little Nicky.
Yeah, little
Nicky.
Nicky. Oh, we talked like this for the whole film. Sign him up. Let's do it.
Then I remember had Reese Witherspoon in it today.
So I'll just say the Ben Affleck, Matt Damon choice does not sit well with me, but I also will tell you I do not have a solution to this that should not that should have definitely been on the list. So it's going to have to give me some time to think.
Burt
Tyler,
Ward, Adam West.
any reaction, Tyler, to Lunce's list here?
Honestly, I agree with most of it.
Except number 1.
Well, no, that was the one I agreed with.
Oh, okay.
I love Goodwill Hunting.
All I hear is it's just complete.
he was ready to
But
defend
Goodwill Hunting
himself.
did not take place over the past 25 years, which
You
is
had to start somewhere.
that's all
So
I'm saying. It
I
should
might-
have been considered.
I might have missed that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since 2000, since the year 2000, would have been the best on-screen pairings.
If you said like best radio pairings of all time, but it has to be within the last 10 years, I'm still going to count us because even though we met over 10 years ago.
Oh,
sweet.
do we have an all? We don't have an all yet. How about just do the clap? Yeah, there we go.
Thank
Okay,
you.
that's a good way to end before we end a friendship here on air. I appreciate John Lunsford very, very much. He knows that. And John, you know we appreciate our title sponsor. That's MyBookie.
We do. Go to mybookie.ag. Use promo code NEXTROUND. Get that first deposit bonus there. I've been playing all the underdogs in March Madness so far. Just missed one, though. UAB lost 69-65 to San Diego State, so didn't get that one. But you know what? You can go bet on whoever you want to. That's who Auburn will play next if Auburn's able to win. So go use promo code NEXTROUND. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with our friends at mybookie.ag.